Howdy folks, welcome to the channel. I'm Don, this is Rockin' the Country, where I react to non-pop country music. And Derek Huckaby made a gift to the channel for me to do this one of David Lee Murphy's Dust on the Bottle. So Derek, firstly, thank you for this gift. And you may not remember this, but you had done a gift request about 2,500 songs ago. And as a second choice, you had given me this song, and I didn't do it because I did your first choice, which was the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's Fishing in the Dark. You may remember that. And then now we're up to Dust on the Bottle. First choice on this one, so thank you. And you said that this went to #1 in October of 1995. Now, I don't know this song because I wasn't in the country at the time. Plus, I was working 100 hours a week. I had just opened a business with my now ex, and we were working 100 hours a week for a couple of years running there. Then eventually, 5 years in, I slacked off to about 70 hours a week. The joys of business ownership, and I loved it. Dust on the Bottle.
Interesting. Creole Williams lived down a dirt road. He made homemade wine like nobody I know. I dropped by one Friday night and said, "Can you help me, Creole? I got a little girl waiting on me and I wanna treat her right." He said, "I got what you need, son," as we stepped down in the cellar. He reached through the cobwebs as he turned on the light. He said, "There might be a little dust on the bottle, but don't let it fool you about what's inside. There might be a little dust on the bottle, but it's one of those things that gets sweeter with time." You were sitting in the porch swing as I pulled up the driveway. My old heart was racing as you climbed inside.
All right, I gotta stop. The visuals in this thing are so freaking spot on, good, descriptive. You could see it. It's a visual in your mind. Like, my mind picture that I have is going to be different in the details than yours, but he's painting a picture here with words. This is good. This is a quintessential example of show, don't tell. He's really showing it to you.
Slid over real close as we drove down to the lake road. Watched the sun fade in that big red sky. I reached under the front seat and said, "Now here's something special. It's just been waiting for a night like tonight. There might be a little dust on the bottle, but don't let it fool you about what's inside. There might be a little dust on the bottle, but it's one of those things that gets sweeter with time."
This is a great fusion. Country with some rock. But it kept it country. You can even call this a little bit of red dirt.
With me, and we've made some memories. After all these years, there's one thing I found. Some say good love, well, it's like a fine wine. It keeps getting better as the days go by.
Then you get addicted to it.
But it might be a little dust on the bottom, but don't let it fool you about what's inside. There might be a little dust on the bottom, but it's one of those things that gets sweeter with time. There might be a little dust on the bottom, but don't let it fool you about what's inside. There might be a little dust on the bottom, but it's one of those things that gets sweeter with time.
knew he was going to run a little bit here. Yeah. That image, I'm a wine guy too. I have a glass each night, right? I haven't been drunk since college because I was drunk during college the whole time. But I like wine, and I also work in a wine store part-time. And for the past 6 months, I decided to, hey, let me get out of the house and once in a while. So they don't sell, they have some high-end wines, but for the most part, they're lower-end wines, middle range wines, and so forth. But a number of their bottles of wine have dust on them, but that's only because um, yeah, the way that it's just it's a big store. It's kind of tough to keep all the bottles clean, but this is the type of bottle of dust on the bottle that's different. The old man had to reach through the cobwebs because I've got a couple of really nice bottles of wine too. They're not in cobwebs, but I keep them in a very special place. And one is a Phelps and the other is a Hobbs, and they were pricey when I bought them. They're pricier now if I were to sell them, but it's you know where your really nice wines are if you have them. You know where you have them. It's that simple. This old man knew before he turned the light on. That's a nice detail. He reached through the cobwebs, then turned the light on. Like he knew where it was without even a light being on. Pulled it out. Like, hey, don't let this thing fool you. What's inside is the good stuff. And that is how it works. Wine, it isn't true that a wine is always better the longer you age it because some wine, almost all wines have a date beyond which the grape starts to turn sour. But the really good ones, you'll have like French wines, you've got some obviously California wines that, the Domaine Romane Contis of the world, which is considered the best vineyard in the world in France, and where those things can last a century in a bottle and still be phenomenal when they come out. Corking technology has improved, but all that aside about wine, this song here, I like the way he sang it. He stayed in the pocket. He could have gone rock at any moment in the song, but he stayed country in the way he sang, what he sang, his patience, all of that. He didn't take over the song. He let the story be the song. So it was really well produced between the instrumentation, like the producer with the arrangement of the instruments and David Lee's voice. And it really came in nice. I wonder what else he's got, Derek. Like a lot of folks, when I'll read different threads on Reddit about country music or wherever, a lot of folks will say that, even on the channel here, that folks will say that the best decade of country music was the 90s. Now, but that's when things also started to change, going more in the pop direction too. So people decried the 90s because then it paved the way for the 2000s. And then others will say, the best decade was the 60s, with Patsy and Senior, prior to that in the 50s and all that. But that's just a matter of subjectivity, of course. The Girl on the Swing, then the lake, and then he reaches under the seat. Don't let the dust on the bottle fool you about what's inside. And there's a lot of metaphors that sprang to mind and analogies that sprang to mind there too. Like when you get older, your skin gets all wrinkled. What's on the outside doesn't show what's on the inside. That kind of thing. That popped into my head. So I'm going to rate this one. And the number that popped into my head is a 9.1. It was a very, very pleasant song. And he got the girl. I'm always rooting for the guys to get the girl, unless the guy's an asshole. But I had no reason to believe that. He was a good dude here, doing his due diligence. How can I please the girl? How can I have a nice evening? He went to his friend's house down the street, the old guy's house, and he got himself a bottle of wine, and he got a good one for the girl. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Derek, thank you for that again, my friend. Have a great day. I'll see you on another video. Keep rocking the country.